Now we need to pour some. Okay. Nice. You know, most ones. I find them to be. Oh, yes, go. But fine. Or for me, you can get. We can do it. I mean. There he is. So and a chair. You get a chair. Now we got the ear. I had to hear. Tyler was radio. You can see next week.
Attention in the barns, attention Sonnen breeders. This is your 15-minute for Sonnen milking yearlings. 15-minute call, Sonnen milking yearlings. And then let's have our 2-year-old recorded grades at ringside, please.
So then that means the whole thing. Like, space ice. They will have to put out.
Oh my god. I don't know. Does it show? Show the trigger. I don't. The metal one.
No, please just not. Yeah, our tired dog.
That's the car. I wanted to be perfect. Oh, man.
So why did you?
Good morning and welcome to our final division here this morning in Ring 1, the recorded grade senior doe show here at the 2022 American Dairy Goat Association National Dairy Goat Show. This is our yearling milker class, and the udder placings are 1, 2, and 3 as they stand. We had a lovely group of does here at the head of the line that very quickly found their way to the top of the class. One is placing over 2 for the advantage she does have in mammary system, having a stronger forwarder attachment and a shorter, more correct teat length than 2. While she does yield in body capacity to 2, she picks up a slight advantage in dairy strength and levelness of rump as well. 2 placing over 3, just so much of an advantage here in the strength of support to the mammary system, yielding a higher udder floor, more correct strength of lateral and fore support than this very capacious doe in 3. 3 placing over 4, first in dairy strength. She's a sharper, a more angular doe. She has greater length of rib and greater openness throughout. And the mammary system, while yielding a bit in its tightness of attachment, does show greater appropriate capacity relative to size than 4. 4 placing over 5 in general appearance. It's her commanding advantage in the longer, more nearly level top line, especially in the rump from hips to pins, and in her body capacity, showing more development in the heart girth and chest, breadth of chest floor than any of the remaining does in line. 5 placing over 6 in her turn, mammary system, have a stronger medial with a more correct teat placement from rear view and greater total area of udder attachment than the belted red doe in 6. And then 6 placing over 7th in general appearance, being stronger in her front end structure, more tightness and strength of blending at the point of shoulder, and more appropriate width of body in relation to body size than 7. The 7th doe really appreciate the soundness of udder attachment, but not quite the appropriateness of her body development to move her higher in the lineup. Thank you.
Where it's from. Or the year? You want to start with the year? This guy can sound like. What's this sound? Stop my community. I'm sick.
You go. Sound between. Where's she at? Stuff to do with phone. Short stuff out.
We have the results of the recorded grade yearling milker class, and this class was sponsored by Deb Goodwin Potter of Hollow Tree Hill Farm Dairy Goats. First place recorded grade milking yearling and first udder in the class went to Pleasant Grove Say Suzita, owned by Craig Koopman. Second place with second udder went to Morse G. T.H. Fergus, owned by Garrett Morse. Third place, third udder went to Will Lee C. Dollar, owned by darn microphone. Charles and Willa Hancock. Fourth place went to J. Fritz J.H. L.J. Sapphire, owned by Deanna Fritz. Fifth place, KECMR Teton Tulip, owned by Claire Smith Thompson. Sixth, Sir Echo B.S. Caldera, Margaret Chamas. And seventh place went to JDF RCL Camilla, owned by Josephine Johnson, and this was also the top placing youth entry in this class. Sonnen breeders, we're just waiting for a class list, so we'll just kind of hang out there. And as soon as we get it, of course, we'll bring you into the ring. All right, Sonnen breeders, we do have the class list. So check in with Terry Coleman at ringside and enter into the ring with your Sonnen milking yearlings. If anyone had happened to be up here at the secretary's judging table and you happen to pick up by mistake the Sonnen milking yearling paperwork, can you just check and see if you have it? We need to have it come back. The Sonnen milking yearling paperwork. Hope someone picked it up by mistake. Please bring. As we start our shows this morning, we'd like to introduce our judges. Judging the recorded grades is Dr. Joan Dean Rao from Capay, California. The consultant for recorded grades is Lynn Benedict from West Virginia. In the other ring, in the Sonnens, our lead judge is Jeremy Lesniak from Schuyler, New York. And his assistant consultant judge is Ed Kavanaugh from Toledo, Ontario, Canada. And once again, we'd like to introduce our ADGA youth representatives that have been here from morning till night, all week long, helping us with the ribbons, the awards, just helping out with general things in the show rings. We'd like to introduce and thank Alicia Borin from Longmont, Colorado, and also Marina Legier from Freiburg, Maine. We certainly appreciate all the work and time that these two young ladies have done here, helping keeping the show going. We would also like to thank the many corporate and private sponsors that we have that help continue our show. Our gold sponsor level is Biogenics Company. We certainly thank them for their generous contribution to our show. And also, they have a booth over here if you'd like to go over and visit their booth and see what they have to offer. At the silver sponsorship level, we have Agape's Prize at Hilltop Farms, Mark Weir, and the Southern Arizona Dairy Goat Association, who were the hosts of last year's national convention out there in Tucson. We appreciate your contribution as well. At the bronze sponsorship level, we have Marie Aurelian, Owl Haven Farm, the Bright Veterinary Clinic, Blue Seal Feeds, the Greene County Goat Club, who will be the hosts of the 2023 convention that's going to be held in Oklahoma, milkersupply.com, Meadowview Farm, and the Santa Barbara Dairy Goat Association. We'd also like to remind everyone, if you haven't gotten your raffle tickets yet for the offerings we have over there, we have several really beautiful raffle dolings over there that have been contributed by some of the top breeders in the country. We also have a lot of artwork over there and several baskets that were donated by each of the various states locally here and actually out west as well. The theme baskets from each of the states. There's a lot of good stuff over there. The way you buy your raffle tickets, you have to go to the website nationalshow.org, and there's an option to buy raffle tickets. Just follow along. And they need to be purchased by noon today so that we can have the drawing right after that. So if you haven't done so, get your raffle tickets in by noon today.
Okay.
Attention in the barns. We could use a volunteer to come up here to the table to run one of the live stream cameras for the Sonnens, please. If you're just kind of hanging out, little bored, nothing to do, but you want to watch the beautiful Sonnen show, you got the best view in the house right here. If you'd like to operate the live stream camera, just come up and let us know. We also have the vendor area here. We have several commercial vendors and several breed organizations and home craft vendors. I know Biogenics is over there, Blue Mountain Genetics, Blue Seal Feeds, the Chaffee Company, the Lavelle Firm, Milker's Supply, the Ringside and American Dairy Goat Podcast is over there, the Seidel Company, and the Wine Valley Farm Livestock Ultrasound Machines. The breed clubs that have displays over there include the Alpines International Club, the American La Mancha Breeders Association, the Guernsey Goat Breeders of America, the National Experimental and Recorded Grade Dairy Goat Association, the Green Country Dairy Goat Club, who are again hosts of the 2023 convention. And the New York State Dairy Goat Breeders Association has a small display. We are the hosts of the convention later in October this year in Syracuse, New York. We also have several home craft vendors with some nice things over there. They include Blissberry, Gray Goat Barbecue, J&M Hideaway Farm, Lori Wood Artwork, Meadowview Farm, and Yellow Pony Customs.
So with that. Yeah.
We're still looking for someone that would like to come up here and operate the live stream camera. It's nothing complicated or hard. All you got to do is sit there and follow the goats around the ring. There's nothing hard about it at all. We would appreciate if somebody or two people actually could come up here and help out doing that for the Sonnen show and the recorded grade show.
No, come noon, you can grab some down or chicken.
A lovely group of individuals to start this 2-year-old recorded grade milking doe class here at the national show. Interesting contrast in this top 4 animals. These were the 4 that we saw very quickly as being really different styles of animals, but clearly moved to the head of the lineup. An interesting contrast in the top pair of does, and in fact, the first udder doe will be the second placing doe. The second udder will be on the first placing doe, and the third udder will be on the third placing doe. So first on mammary systems alone, to the second doe, our first udder is placing over the second udder on the top doe in the lineup for her advantage in a wider rear udder attachment, greater extension and length of fore udder, slightly greater area of attachment. They're both similar udders in structure, but just more width and dimension and more extension in the top udder doe in our second place over the second udder at the head of the lineup. Then second udder in the top doe over the third udder, the Sonnen type doe third in line. Here, this were really, I thought, a very comparable pair of udders to start the lineup. And as a pair, really, they extend in the height of udder floor, the height of rear udder, the extension in the support to mammary system as compared to the third udder on our third doe. Now back to the general lineup. The first 2 does really caught my eye as they moved into the ring. And we're starting with the doe that excelled in general appearance. You can see right now she comes to rest with the forelegs more properly under the withers. When we see her move from the front, she moves more correctly in the front end and front leg. And in the levelness of top line, both at rest and on the move, she's stronger over the top line in the chine and just shows more strength of back than did two. In dairy strength, she's also just a sharper, flatter boned individual. And the mammary systems are comparable, although the first udder is on our second placing doe. Just a lovely pair of does. 2 placing over 3 for her advantage in the mammary system, her higher, wider rear udder attachment, more correct teat delineation, and greater width of lateral support, extension of fore support, handily takes her into that third position. Also just a longer mate doe throughout. 3 placing over 4, again, that fourth tog doe really caught my eye for her style and balance. In mammary system, it is the greater area of attachment on the more capacious udder with more width, especially to the rear. And mammary system really is the primary reason for placing. A slight advantage is owed in body capacity, owing to her deeper heart and length of body, but she does yield in general appearance to 4. 4 placing over 5 for this advantage in general appearance. She's stronger in the feet and pasterns, shows more levelness in the rump from thurl to thurl, and in mammary system, it's more correct in the tightness of its udder attachment, especially in the rear, than 5. 5 placing over 6 in her turn again in general appearance. As a matter of degree, she's more level in the top line, especially in the chine, and she travels more correctly in the front end structure than either of the next 3 does in line. She does yield again a slight advantage in height of rear to 6. 6 placing over 7, just a longer made doe with more capacity of body owing to greater width. And in mammary system, her more capacious udder carries with it greater area of attachment. She also is a bit stronger in the more correct angulation of hock inside profile than 7. 7 placing over 8, just so much of a difference here in the positioning of the udder on the body wall, avoiding tilting more so than 8. And in general appearance, her more correct levelness of loin and more level rump from hips to pins gives her quite an advantage. 8 placing over 9, first excelling in dairy strength, just a sharper doe at the withers, flatter bone, more open throughout, a little freer from general muscularity. And in mammary system, while I certainly appreciate the position of udder on body wall on the 9th doe, the doe in 8 has a more capacious udder with more apparent degree of function than a 9. 9 placing over in kind of a pair of does in the lineup, and just starting with the doe that's a little more correct in the front end. You can see right now she holds her foreleg tighter at the point of elbow. She's a more upstanding individual who's a bit stronger in the back, and the mammary system shows a bit more apparent capacity than 10. 10 placing over 11th here in turn here for her advantage in general appearance, owing to her longer, more level top line, especially as a matter of degree in the chine, and a doe who excels in body capacity, having more development through the heart girth and breadth of chest floor in particular. 11 placing over 12 in mammary system, but more secure in its fore attachment, and as well, again, in feet and legs and front end, a bit more correct as well, but relatively close placing. 12 then placing over 13, the udder is more secure and it's particularly higher in rear udder attachment, stronger in the floor to mammary system and medial support, and more correct in teat size and shape. And additionally, she's slightly stronger in the pasterns as well. 13 then placing over 14th. I just love the udder capacity, the security of udder attachment about 14. Unfortunately, she's just not traveling as soundly in the feet and legs today, and that's certainly affecting her posture as well. And so hard to move her any higher in this lineup. But it is the security of udder attachment being higher in the rear in particular, especially as she shows today, as compared to 15. 15 placing over 16. I did walk these does and feel the udders and neck, really looking that I originally had pulled the 16th doe up higher for the capacity that she shows. But when I look at the soundness of udder support, the rear udder is more properly placed in the escutcheon, more secure in its attachment. And as well, she's a doe who's more smoothly blended, more upstanding, more smoothly blended and correct in the junction of the shoulders with body wall than was this deep and capacious doe in 16. And it is the overall capacity both of mammary system and body capacity, owing to her greater length and depth throughout the width that she has, that places her over 17. 17 excels in dairy strength over 18. Again, she's just a sharper, more angular individual, and the mammary system she has is placed more properly higher in the escutcheon than this really long body doe in 18. 18 places over 19. Certainly, I love the security of udder attachment and the sharpness about 19, but with the quality and the structure of the front end, the correctness of her front end assembly, and the angulation of hock inside profile, the strength of feet and legs, the general appearance really carries the day in placing 18 over 19. It is, however, her udder capacity, and with that, the area of udder attachment and the dairy strength that she shows that places her over 20, to whom she yields a significant advantage in general appearance. And then 20 placing over the balance of the class. These are very secure mammary systems on these does who follow. Not quite the apparent capacity, area of attachment, nor quite the dairy strength that we're seeing at the top of the line. Thank you.
So, class of Sonnen Yearling milkers, mammary placing is 2, 1, 3. For the advantage in mammary system, a little more proper teat delineation on the udder fore and placement over our second place udder. Second place udder or third place udder, showing us more extension of fore udder. She's wider to the rear udder than 3. In our class placing, 1 placing over 2, it is for the advantage in dairy strength. She's sharper and cleaner, freer of excess fleshing than we're seeing in our second place animal. More proper rear leg angulation and general appearance than we do see in 2. 2 then over 3, it is for the advantage in mammary system. Just much more area of udder attachment and capacity that we're seeing. She also has the advantage in body capacity, more depth width of the chest floor than we do see in our third place animal. 3 then over 4 for advantages in general appearance. A doe that's stronger in the area of the chine. She's showing us an advantage in dairy strength. She's sharper at the withers with more length in neck than we do see in 4. 4 then over 5 for advantages in mammary system. She's showing us more extension to that foreudder. She has the advantage in body capacity, more depth of barrel than we do see in 5. 5 then over 6 has the advantages in dairy strength. She's showing us more sharpness at the withers, more length in neck, in general appearance. So longer bone pattern doe. She's showing us more length of loin than we are seeing in our 6th place animal. If we can move this line forward, please. 6 then placing over 7, it is a general appearance placing. A doe that's stronger in the area of the chine, more level in the area of the loin than we are seeing in 7. 7 then over 8 for advantages in mammary system, much more capacity. She's wider to that rear udder. She's showing us more area of udder attachment. And dairy strength, she's showing us more sharpness to the withers than we do see in our 8th place doe. 8 then over 9 in her turn in dairy strength. A doe again excelling in sharpness and angularity, more open doe than we do see in 9. 9 then over 10 for advantages in general appearance. A doe more level of rump from hips to pins in 10th place doe. 10 then over 11, advantages in body capacity, showing us much more depth, width of that chest floor, depth carry back through the barrel, more spring or rib than we do see in 11. 11 then over 12 for advantages in general appearance. A doe cleaner about the crops. She's showing us longer rump from hips to pins than we do see in our 12th place doe, showing us a nice capacity of mammary system today.
Just a couple little reminders here as we start our show today. You must have your tag number on your body as you come into the ring. And also, if you're a youth exhibitor, your youth exhibitor need to have your open class number and your youth number card. So if a youth comes in with a youth doe, she has to have both cards. So don't forget that. And then also, if you have a first place animal in any of the classes, you need to go get your photograph taken over at the photograph set up there where the blue curtain is. And then the recorded grade 2-year-olds. This class was sponsored by Terry Lee Coleman of Buteos. We certainly appreciate that sponsorship. First place with first udder. In the recorded grade 2-year-old class went to Shady Lawn RRRS Kobe, owned by Faith Hitch. Second place with first udder went to Automakers Sweet Sasha, owned by Tammy Tuller. Third place with third udder went to Will Lee C. Cheshire Cat, owned by Miss Willa Hancock. Fourth place, Taylor Ridge Maple, owned by Catherine Taylor. Fifth place, White Rock Farm Arch Delilah, Katie Jackson. 6, Westerfield's BB May, Brady Westerfield. 7, Westerfield's BB Macy, Brady Westerfield. 8, Pocahontas Pride's PA Crystal, Ann Claggett. 9, KECMRF Confusion, Rob Smith. 10, J Fritz JFGG Mercedes, Deanna Fritz. 11, Love Rock PL Mistress of Music, Vanessa Mills. 12, Love Rock VK Maggie May, Jason Peckham. 13, Hilaire Farm Sapphire Minerva, Jonathan Kane. 14, Pocahontas Pride HV Voila, owned by Ann Claggett. 15, Clissus Katie Adenium, Cliss Foster. 16, Will Lee C. Contralto, Charles and Willa Hancock. 17, Silent Spring MS Megara, Margaret Chamas. 18, Lilac Corners Aurora, Carol Holder. 19, Bee's Knees Black Eyed Pea. That's a mouthful, holy smokes. Owned by Sarah Williams. And 20th place went to Meraki JT Avalon, owned by Alexandria Stewart. First placing youth in recorded grade 2-year-olds went to Shady Lawn RS Kobe, owned by Faith Hitch. And second place went to Westerfield's BB May, owned by Brady Westerfield. And again, thank you to the sponsor of that class, Terry Lee Coleman of Buteos. The results of the Sonnen Milking Yearling class that was sponsored by Richard and Joanne Bowen of Anthem Sonnens. First place went to Tempa Pasta Innate Force, owned by Sarah Cohen Wahlberg. She was also second place udder. Second place with the first place udder in the class went to Blissberry Talk is Cheap, Sarah Cohen Wahlberg. Third place with third udder, Vineyard View Secret Tsunami, Laura Kuhn Bowman. Fourth, Sherry's Chief Celeste, Sarah Cohen Wahlberg. 5, Pleasant Grove NSMMG, owned by Craig Koopman. 6, Spinning Spider Teen Spirit, Christine Owen. 7, Sunset Dreams Passion, Emily Miller. 8, Rusted Hill Tea Rose of Sharon, Erica Slayton. 9, Tule Creek AA Carroll, Miss Willa Hancock. 10, Verdon Creek Sonnen's Twinkle, John Walker. 11, Quartz DRF, Tim Eleanor, Dana Isley. 12, Miss Willa's and W, Miss Willa Hancock. I'd like to remind the National Show Committee that you have a meeting at 11 a.m. at the show office, National Show Committee meeting at 11 a.m. Also at the show office, we have several forms. We have the ADGA National Show Herdsman Award nomination form. You can pick that up there. And we also have the ADGA Premier Youth Exhibitor entry link. There's a QL code there. You can use that to enter for the Premier Youth Exhibitor. And there are still tickets for the cheese event available. They're on sale for $20. You can pick those up at the ADGA office as well.
Sorry. This is the final order of placing for the 3-year-old recorded grade milking does. The udder placings will be 1, 2, and 3. Perhaps move that first one up. The other ones come in quite close to her there. Thank you. One is placing over to a doe we thought handily topped the lineup. She excels too, first actually in general appearance, in that she's sounder and sharper, sounder in the shoulders, moves more correctly in the front end, has more levelness of top line, especially in the loin, as compared to 2. She also carries an udder placing, the udder placing over to a much more correct shape of the mammary system, especially from the rear view, more correctly shaped floor to the udder, and more proper medial than 2. And the udder placings are 1, 2, and 3. The mammary system really carrying the placing. So first udder based on the first doe, based on the udder shape and correctness of support. Second and third, this is a first freshening doe in third, and so perhaps with additional freshening, she will gain capacity. But on the mammary system alone, then in 2 and 3, there's a more capacious udder, carrying with it greater total area of udder support, and particularly more width to lateral support, greater total area of udder attachment, and greater apparent capacity on this more mature 3-year-old in second. So mammary placings then, as just stated. Then back to the general appearance on the first doe that I've already mentioned, as well as mammary system. 2 placing over 3 I thought was a closer placing, and certainly admiring the dariness about the third doe, but with the quality and udder capacity and evidence of apparent function, as well as some greater strength of her back and angulation of hock, strength of bone, and strength of feet. She carries the placing over 3, but again, mammary system, the primary reason. 3 then placing over 4 on the basis of mammary system, more secure forwarder attachment, greater width to rear support as compared to 4, and as well in body capacity. A greater depth of forerib, the greater increase in depth of body going back into the area of the flank, and greater breadth in relation to size places her over 4. 4 excels in general appearance over 5. She's just a more level doe in top line, both in the loin and onto a more nearly level rump from hips to pins, and in dairy strength, just the greater length of rib, sharpness, and openness throughout places her over 5. 5, one of the more secure mammary systems in the class, placing over 6 on the basis of mammary system, with greater width in rear udder attachment, extension of forudder attachment than 6, and in general appearance, her sounder feet and legs throughout, and greater strength of bone, length of back, place her over 6, the sharper doe. 6 placing over 7th in her turn in general appearance, while really admiring the apparent capacity to the mammary system in 7 and the area of udder attachment. There's more refinement to mammary system with more correct teat shape and placement, stronger forudder, and as well in general appearance. While not the strength of general appearance we had higher in the lineup, she still tracks on stronger feet and pasterns more correctly in the front end than did 7. She does the first freshening doe in 6, and then a doe with additional lactations in 7. And we did take that into consideration in moving her up ahead, and thought there was still sufficient justification based on general appearance in 6 over 7. 7 then placing over 8. This is a doe in extended lactation in 8. And but even with that, with regard to that and taking that into consideration, she's more correct in the placement of the rear udder and body wall, the overall width of rear udder, and the extension and lateral support to warrant a placing in mammary system predominantly over 8. 8 placing over 9th. In her turn in dairy strength, this extended lactation doe is still more proper in her degree of fleshing. She's a sharper doe, more angular body form than was 9. A similarly strong udder doe in 9. 9 places over 10 for this correctness of her udder support. The udder is held higher above the hocks as a matter of degree. It's more secure in its rear attachment in particular, but also stronger in fore attachment than 10. And then 10 placing over 11th, just so much of an advantage here in the soundness of her feet and legs, freer from enlargement about the knees, more correct in the front end assembly, and showing more proper strength and angulation in the rear legs than 11. 11 then placing over 12, just so much of an advantage here in both the capacity of her mammary system and in her dairy strength, with her greater openness throughout and the length of her rib, the more angular body form to place her over 12. 12 and 13, both those we appreciated the security of their udder attachments, but found more appropriate strength and vigor in those who come ahead. And then again, the last doe, and just as a matter of degree, then the body form and development. The last doe, again, certainly commending the udder shape and the height of its udder support, but in does reaching near full maturity, I prefer the greater development, freedom from frailty that we have in those who come ahead.
Sounds like.
We'd like this darn microphone. We'd like to tell you a little bit about our raffle items we have over there. And again, the only way to buy raffle tickets, unfortunately, due to state regulations, is you have to go through the ADGA website, nationalshow.org. You go to that, and there's an option there for raffle. Just click on that and follow the directions. We have several baskets that were donated from the various states. The group in Pennsylvania have put together actually 2 really big, beautiful baskets with a lot of great items in there. The state of Washington, those breeders have put together a basket. The group in New York State has put together a nice basket of a lot of great items. The state of Oregon. Picnic in Oregon is the theme of their basket. The group in Texas, they also have one here. So there's some great baskets representing the various geographical regions of our country, and where a lot of our breeders who have come here to compete have brought with them. There's some tremendous artwork over there as well, some really beautiful artwork. There's a painting entitled Autumn Days, donated by Carolyn Jones. There's a quilted wall hanging entitled Petting Zoo in the Jungle, and that was submitted by Myrtle Edens from Oregon. There's a frame painting entitled Southern Charm, It's a barn quilt painting, acrylic on wood, and that was offered by Brooke Earl from Alabama. There's a homemade dog treat basket that was put together by Jessica McDonald from Oregon. Beautiful painting of a Nubian kid entitled Amber Waves, and that was submitted by Rebecca Prow from North Carolina. We have an acrylic painting entitled The Girls, and that was offered by Hannah Depew from Ohio. And there's a framed oil painting entitled Meadow Magic, and that was offered by Dean Engman from Marcola, Oregon. There's also a six-sided feeder with a poly tub that was donated by the Seidel Company. There's some hay feeders donated by John McPherson, and a whole bunch of place tie lines and double end snaps that you use for in show ring, and those were donated by John Pratt from Utah. There's a lot of Nubian semen donated by Sonia Tyson of Woostahoova Farm. It includes 2 straws of the very famous buck Elise Charleston Chew, and the other 2 straws of another very famous buck that his name is Ironrod Bluebird, and that semen can be delivered to the convention. And there's a great thing here. It's a goat medical box. It was put together by Woostahoova Farm, the Grand Ron Dairy, and the Purple Thistle La Manchas, and includes 30 items that are essential to your goat keeping. And then we have several really beautiful kids donated by some of the prominent breeders in the country. There's a beautiful Alpine doe kid. Her name is Soldier Mountain FBO Silhouette. She's been donated by Tracy Stamke from Idaho. There's an Alpine doeling Temple Aquila Live Free Prize. She's been donated by Dr. Lauren Acton from Oregon. A La Mancha doeling Barn Owl Charisma. She's donated by Artist Lyons from Vancouver, Washington. A lovely La Mancha doe kid, Rockin' CB LSK Pioneer. And if you were at the national show last year, the Rockin' CB herd did tremendous. And she's been donated by Cindy and Bob Silva from Chattaroy, Washington. Little Misbehaving Fashion Party is a Nigerian dwarf. And again, last year, the Little Misbehaving herd did very well at the national show. And they also broke the spotlight sale record for national sales with their spotlight sale doling last year. And she's donated by Megan and Aaron Carter from Lakeport, California.
In this class of 2-year-old Sonnens, we do have quite a few does, some wonderful does. We did pick out the top 20 we would like to continue to work with. We do appreciate all of the other exhibitors for bringing their animals. Certainly a nice quality milking does, a lot of capacity in these mammary systems, just not quite the strength and general appearance, levelness of top line that we're seeing in some of these other does. But certainly we appreciate you bringing them in today for us to evaluate.
Also in the raffle, we have a cute little Nigerian dwarf doe, Sunny Days Freeze Tag, and she's been donated by Carissa Schneider from Fairplay, Maryland. There's a Nubian doeling, Woostahoova Moses Lake Willow. She's donated by Sonia Tyson from Washington. Another Nubian doeling, Quarter Mile Catch Me If You Can. She's been donated by Nicole Osban from Michigan. Looks like she has a pretty lovely udder on her grand dam. There's an Oberhausley doeling, Magic Creek Highland Wisp. She's been donated by the Tinney family from right here in Pennsylvania. And if you were watching the show the other night, the Tinney family had the National Junior Grand Champion. A beautiful Sonnen doe, Araby Farm Aaliyah. She's donated by Scotty and Eileen Broadus from New Jersey, Araby Farm. There's another Sonnen doe, Chamois Test Abilene. She's donated by Dean Engeman and Stan Mackin from Marcola, Oregon. A sable doeling, Her name is Grand Ron Chocolate Macaron. She's donated by Stephanie Rovey and family from La Grande, Oregon. And we have a one Toggenburg doe, a really cute little doeling over there. Johaus Acres Elizabeth. She's donated by Heather Arts from Washington. And again, the only way to buy tickets is online. Go to nationalshow.org and click on the raffle tab. And you must do that by noon today. So they will all be closed at noon today.
Probably not.
Okay, we have the results of the recorded grade 3-year-old class. This class was sponsored by the Peterson family of For Pete's Sake and Look at Me Dairy Goats. First place with first udder went to Moss Ridge Janko April, owned by Tracy Jones. Second place with the second placing udder, Penny's Pasture Zoom to Mars, Erica Streeter. Third place with third udder, Lee's Bees Edisto, Lee Breyer. Fourth place, Meraki Fr. Zahayeva, Alexandria Stewart. Fifth place, Love Rock OBK Chattanooga Lucy, Vanessa Mills. Six, Shady Lawn FF Brasilia, Faith Hitch. 7, Pallet Farms PS Padma, Joanna Ringer. 8th place, Split Creek Pose Annabelle, Sandra Kaufman. 9th place, Wings and Caprines Adeline, Anna Kirby. 10, Blue Sage Beetlejuice, Samuel Perhatch. 11, Pocahontas Pride, Wild Delilah, Ann Claggett. 12, Larissa, owned by Zachary Jones. 13, JDF Keynes Jebel, Josephine Johnson. First placing youth in the recorded grade 3-year-old class went to Shady Lawn FF Brasilia, Faith Hitch. Second place, Wings and Caprines, Adeline, Anna Kirby.
Placing these 4-year-old recorded grade does as you see them. The udders will be 1, 2, and 3. This class took a little longer to sort in terms of bringing. We didn't have quite such obvious placings as we have in some of the other class, so we really have some trade-offs among the does. Starting on first on mammary system alone, 1, 2, and 3 as they stand. 1, the first udder is placing over the second udder in 2 for the advantage she has from rear view in that the udder is placed higher in the escutcheon. The shape to the floor of the udder is more correct in the strength of medial and in the balance and symmetry to udder than in 2. She does yield a slightly smoother fore udder when you handle these udders to the second placing doe. And so it did take a bit of time to work into finding a logical order of placing for these mammary systems. 2, placing over 3 on mammary system alone, much more correct in teat shape placement and delineation, more correct again of the position of udder on body wall, and greater apparent capacity relative to body size than we're seeing in 3. 3, then placing over the balance of the class on mammary. A close competitor for a mammary placing actually was in the 4th placing doe, in that we appreciated a bit more correct. From one of the widest rear udders in the class was on the 4th placing doe, and again, position of udder and body wall and shape when viewed from the rear. But in the final analysis, on 3, there was greater length of fore, width of lateral support, and then carrying with that area of udder attachment to place her over the more correct teat placement in side view and height and width of rear. So some trade-offs there. Now moving back to the overall placings, 1/2, predominantly in general appearance, both at rest and on the move. She's stronger over the back, especially stronger in the chine, and as the chine blends into a more nearly level loin. She also walks as a matter of degree more correctly in the front end structure, but stronger in pasterns as well over this really long-bodied and capacious doe in 2. In mammary system, as previously stated, some finer structural traits of the udder make her the first udder as well. 2, placing over 3 here as a matter of degree. On a mammary system, she excels because of her wider mammary system throughout. But in general appearance, again, you can see she comes to rest with her forelegs more properly held under the body wall. It's stronger and straighter as a matter of degree in foreleg and side view, and moves as a matter of degree with more ease of motion around the mammary system than did 3. 3, placing over 4, just a much more capacious doe. She's a longer doe, more width throughout, and the mammary system, as previously stated, shows more extension of fore and capacity to the 4 portions of the udder than this real sound for number doe in 4. 4, placing over 5, for this general soundness. I had this 5th doe up a little higher in the class earlier, and then in the final analysis, her higher rear udder, the rear udder that again avoids tilting more so. And when you watch her move around the ring, she's just stronger over the top, shows more angulation of hawk, over this really capacious uddered, capacious body doe in 5. 5/6. 5 was also a contender for an udder placing. And so it was, again, the shape of the udder, the teat shape, length, and delineation that placed, and the area of attachment really that placed her over 6. And as a matter of degree, the correctness of foreleg and front end over an extremely angular doe in 6. 6 was placing over 7. For this advantage in dairy strength, she's just a more angular. You can go ahead and move the line forward, I think, if you'd like, and then stop up here. Just greater length of rib and openness throughout, a sharper type of doe, and a mammary system that's held higher into the escutcheon than was 7. 7, placing over the Nubian type doe in 8. Really loved kind of the levelness and smoothness of blending about this Nubian doe, but these in fully mature does, the greater depth of heart, the greater increase in depth of rear rib, the dairiness, and the udder capacity relative to body size excelled in 7/8. 8, placing over really dairy individual in 9. Just the advantage in general appearance is owed to her greater width and set of feet and legs, the stronger pasterns, stronger back and longer back. And in mammary system, the more greater security of udder attachment over 9. And then 9, placing over 10. Again, in does in full maturity, greater advantage in body capacity is owed to her greater width and depth of body throughout. And in this comparison, greater height of rear udder attachment as well, but certainly commending the levelness of rump about the last doe.
We have the results of the recorded grade 4-year-old class. This class was sponsored by Mariah Acton. First place in this class went to Shady Lawn High Khaleesi, owned by Faith Hitch. Second, and she also had first udder. Second place, but second udder went to Will Lee, the boss's daughter, owned by Katie Jackson. Third place with third udder, Pocahontas Pride, AJ Pearl, and Claggett. Fourth, Lee's Bees, Clarabelle, Lee Breyer. Fifth, Hops and Lops Arkham, Grace Toy. Sixth, That's Our Chica's Cat, Deanna Fritz. 7, Engel Sky Cinnabon, Hope Hitch. 8th, Fiddle Faddle, WG Lasso the M, Sarah Emig. 9, JDF Bash Constellation, Josephine Johnson. 10, Tempo Done Did It, Dana Isley. Top placing class went to Shady Lawn High Khaleesi, owned by Faith Hitch. Second place went to Engel Sky Cinnabon, owned by Hope Hitch.
These are a class of our 2-year-old Sonnen milkers, and certainly a wonderful class from top to bottom. Udder placings today is 1, 3, 2. Our first place still goes over our second place udder. Just the capacity she's showing, more extension to fore udder. She's a little higher to that rear udder into the escutcheon than we are seeing in our second place mammary. Our second place mammary on our third doe over our third place mammary. Much more width to the rear udder when you view her from behind. A doe that blends more smoothly into the escutcheon of that rear udder than we do see on our third place mammary. One placing over 2, it is for that advantage of mammary system. A doe that's higher, wider to that rear udder. She has the advantage in general appearance, particularly on the move. Just a doe more level across that top line in the area of the loin, although yielding a touch to the openness that we do see in 2. 2 then over 3 for her advantages in dairy strength. Just a very open doe when you get your hands on her. She's sharper at the withers and more length of neck than we are seeing in 3. 3 then over 4 for advantages in mammary system. Just showing us the advantage and higher into the discussion, blending more smoothly, is viewed from the side than we do see in our 4th place animal. 4 then over 5, it is an advantage in general appearance, particularly on the move. She's stronger in the area of the chine than we are seeing in our 5th place animal. And mammary system showing us much more capacity, extension of forudder, more proper teat delineation than we do see in 5. 5 then over 6 for her advantage in general appearance. We're seeing a longer rump from hips to pin. She's flatter from thorough to thorough. If we can move this line up, please. 6 then over 7 has the advantage in mammary system again, a doe that's higher to the rear udder. She also has the advantage in body capacity, a little more depth to the chest floor than we are seeing in our 7th place animal. 7 then over 8 for mammary system, more balance and symmetry between the udder halves. She's more level of rump from hips to pins, blending more smoothly from the neck into the shoulder assembly than we do see on our 8th place doe. 8 then over 9 for her advantages in body capacity. She's much wider and deeper to the chest floor. She's tighter at the elbow in general appearance than we do see in 9. 9 then over 10 for advantages in general appearance. Much more level on the move in the area of the chine and the rump from hips to pins in our 10th place doe. 10 then over 11 has the advantage of mammary system again. Much more capacity, area of udder attachment, extension of fore width of that rear udder than we are seeing on our 11th place doe. 11 then over 12. Again, advantages in mammary system, the height to the rear udder into the discussion. She also has the advantages in dairy strength, a little more length in neck than we are seeing in our 12th place animal. 12 then over 13, advantages in general appearance, doe much more level on the move in the area of the chine and the rump from hips to pins than we do see in 13. 13 over 14 and another mammary system placing, more extension, overall area of udder attachment to that forudder than we are seeing in our 14th animal, as well more depth of the chest floor than 14. 14 over 15, again, strength of mammary system much higher into the discussion than our 15th place animal. 15 over 16, again, strength in general appearance and levelness of top line strength in the area of the chine. A doe that's much cleaner when you get your hands on her, and dairy strength leaner to that neck than our 16th place doe. We can move this line up, please. 16 then over 17, it is again strength of mammary system, much more capacity, willingness to milk, width of that rear udder. Another doe that is excelling in dairy strength, the sharpness and angularity that she's showing over 17. 17 then over 18 is the general appearance placing, stronger in the area of the chine and the loin on the move, much more level of rumps from hips to pins, although yielding to the capacity of mammary we do see in 18. 18 then over 19, strength of mammary system, a more proper teat placement delineation on the udder floor than we see in our 19th place doe. 19 then over 20 has advantages in body capacity again, more depth and width throughout, more spring or rib than we do see in our 20th place animal. Certainly showing us a nice length of rump from hips to pins today.
See that? Yeah. This one. This one. See that? This, you know.
These are our 5 to 6 year old recorded grade milking does here at the 2022 National Dairy Goat Show for the American Dairy Goat Association. First pair of does really caught my eye, very commanding presence owing to their stature and length, strength and power about them. There are differences that become more apparent when you get up on top of them, feel them, watch them move from the front, and really handle those mammary system that aren't entirely apparent from side view. One placing over, well, actually, we'll start with mammary systems. Mammary systems will be 1, 2, and 3. Some interesting trade-offs in that, well, there are does further down the line that I appreciated, perhaps mammary positions that sat a little bit higher in terms of the balance and symmetry of the, a third behind the rear leg and so on. And especially as you sort of watch them on the move and some of the mammary systems further down the line, really didn't carry quite the overall capacity or area of attachment that we found in this top group of does here at the head of the lineup. And the udder in 1 placing over the udder in 2, most apparent both when you handle the udders and from rear view, in that there's a wider floor to the udder, more distinct medial suspensory ligament, greater, more desirable shape to mammary system from rear view than was when 2. And then 2 udder in second doe placing over 3, and while granting one of the more correct udder shapes actually relative to the doe ahead, to 3, there's just so much greater total area of udder attachment in its wider lateral attachment and the greater capacity with it, carrying with it area of attachment to warrant the placing. The third udder doe on the third doe places over the balance of the class for the correctness, first again in capacity and area of attachment over the fourth doe. So there were some does where she excelled over those, and then others where it excelled because of its more correct shape, teat shape and delineation, and a height of rear udder and shape from rear view further down the line. Back to the general placement for these does, really a strong advantage is owed here. First, in general appearance, to the more correct front legs and front end. You can see right now she's straighter in her foreleg when viewed from the side. She tracks more correctly toward us than did 2. And as well in dairy strength, she's just a sharper doe at the wither. She's flatter bone, leaner at the thigh, more arched and refined in the flank than this extremely powerful doe in second, to whom she did yield in the overall length of body. But her mammary system, the dairy strength, the correctness of front end really held her at the head of the lineup. 2, placing over 3, 4 advantage in body capacity. She's just a longer made doe. She's wider, deeper, longer throughout. And the mammary system, again, more capacious relative to body size than 3. 3, placing over 4 in mammary system, it's the shape and extension as previously mentioned, and as well in dairiness, she's just a sharper, leaner type of doe as well, but does yield in the depth of heart, especially to 4. 4, placing over 5 for the general appearance, and again, while yielding in dairy and angularity to the one behind, her stronger pasterns, greater strength of rear legs, stronger back, and more level top places her over 5. 5, placing over 6, a similar pair of does in overall body form, but the stronger, deeper, longer doe, and who in mammary system, while certainly appreciating the tightness of attachment in 6, is just more appropriate in the capacity relative to size of these fully mature does than 6. 6, placing over 7th, really looked at this placing fairly closely in that I just love the openness and capacity about the chocolate with doe with the Swiss markings in 7, but the doe ahead is just more secure in her udder support and attachment. She's stronger over the back and shine, stronger in the foreleg than was 7. 7 was placing over 8. The 8 doe, just one of the most lovely does in side profile and top line. The does ahead of her, however, excel in the capacity of mammary system relative to body size, and with that, the area of udder attachment, making it hard to move her higher in this lineup. But as compared to the balance of the class, it's both her capacity and her strength, especially the longer rump that she has, the more levelness and length of top line, and the stronger feet and legs that place her over the balance of the class. In our 9, 10, 11, and 12 does, there's some trade-offs with them, but starting to doe in mammary system in 9, a more correct udder in its shape, especially carrying greater width to the rear, and a more balance in the capacity to lower portions of the rear udder than 10. She's also just a little sharper doe, but yields in length to 10. 10 placing over 11, again, the side profile attractive in udder shape, not quite the overall fully mature strength of bone and body capacity and strength that we had in those top does in the lineup. And same story then on 12. They're separated more by the strength of the feet and pastern. So really stylish, pleasing udder shape in 12, not quite the overall strength and capacity that we were seeing in those at the top of the line. Thank you. She does not have mark. So this will be the order of placing for our recorded grade age does, our 7 and older class. There are more 9-year-olds in this class. There's one 7-year-old, an 8-year-old, the rest are 9-year-olds plus an 11-year-old. So one, thank you so much, exhibitors, for bringing out these older does. Just looking at these animals that are still functioning, they're up on sound, strong feet and legs. Again, it's just such a privilege to see them out here. The doe at the head of the line will be second udder. The doe second in line will be first udder. The third udder will be on the 11-year-old who places who is our 6th placing individual. So let me start first with udders. And again, I always enjoy the age does. It's such a privilege to have you bring them out for us. And so again, thank you so much. There's a lot of evidence of many years of service here. And so it's just a real treat to see them. The first udder doe on the second animal, she is the first udder doe. I'd like to see her with the neatness of teat size and shape that we see in the second udder doe up ahead of her. She still has greater extension in the length of her forudder. The shape of the mammary system carries more capacity to the lower portions of the udder. And when you handle these udders, there's more width of lateral, more area of attachment than we're seeing on the second udder, which is on our first placing doe. The second udder, the top doe in the lineup, places over I'll say the balance of the class, but then also our third udder doe, our 11-year-old here at the end. Just so much more in full function at this point, the greater capacity relative to body size, greater extension in the height and width of rear is a distinct advantage over the balance of the class and over the third udder. I dropped down to our 11-year-old 11th freshening doe for third udder in the lineup. And as I really evaluated all these animals, maybe not quite still in full function, these other does in the lineup. And so looking at her udder structure, the height of her rear, the definition of medial, she excels in the strength of medial over the black La Mancha doe in the correctness of udder shape and placement of udder on body wall and height of rear over the 4-year-old, over number 4 goat, and then again in the shape of udder and extension over that number 3 doe. So she really found her way, although not working her way higher in the lineup. She'll be our 3rd udder doe in the lineup. So congratulations. Udders are 2, 1, and 6. There wasn't huge differences in mammary system in 1 over 2, and the big difference here is in general appearance. So 1 is placing over 2 because she is stronger, more correct in the usage of feet and legs, stronger over the top line in the chine. She's a longer made type of doe in her bone pattern, longer or more wider, more level in rump from hips to pins than 2. And a doe that, as well as just a longer made doe, is more correct in the front and travels more correctly than did 2. 2 placing over 3 in her turn, the mammary system just so much more in full function. This is our top mammary system in class in 2 and placing over 3. And the greater capacity relative to size, the height and width, the higher, wider rear udder placed her over 3. She also is sounder in the forelegs and the knees, and as a matter of degree, more stronger in front end assembly, angulation of hock inside profile, and strength of her pastern over 3. 3 placing over 4, the 7-year-old in 4th place. The doe ahead of her just went with the more dairy individual, who's leaner and generally freer from muscularity, more arched and refined in the flank, just leaner throughout. And although and so her dairy strength, and then as well the balance of her body conformation, the strength of her back being stronger in the chine, more level of loin, and as a matter of degree, showing more proportional depth of heart than 4. 4, tremendously long body doe, and it is this overall scale and frame, the longer, more, just a longer doe with more capacity of body, capacity of mammary system, that placed her over more correct doe in general appearance in 5. And then it is the general appearance that placed 5 over 6. Even with due regard to age, again, this is a 9-year-old doe, and then her 7-year-old placing behind her. And even with due regard to age, her stronger pasterns, her wider back, and more strength of front end does place her over the 11th-year-old doe. Again, commending the shape of mammary system on the 11-year-old, and she wins an udder placing today. Congratulations.
We have the results of the Sonnen 2-year-old class. This class was sponsored by Emily and Ray Miller of Sunset Dreams. First place 2-year-old Sonnen Milker and first place udder went to Araby Farm Maud, owned by Scotty and Eileen Broadus. Second place with third place udder went to Tempo Pasa e Cardib, owned by Sarah Cohen Wahlberg. Third place with second udder went to Pleasant Grove NSMMSI. I know there's more to the name. I apologize, Craig. Owned by Craig Koopman. Fourth place, Lady K FTS Making a Statement, Sarah Cohen Wahlberg. Fifth place went to Bouquet, owned by Holly Buroker. Sixth place, Bjorning's WLMIR Mystery, owned by Ruth Phillips Grant. Seventh, Spinning Spider HT Vogue, Christine Owen. 8, Genevieve, owned by Scotty and Eileen Broadus. 9 was Jamaica Kids Capri, owned by Megan Lawrence. 10, JH Farm Champagne's Drip, Diana Hubbard. 11th place went to Bluestone Acres Peyton, owned by John Giarusso. 12th place went to Hops and Lops Folsom Grace Toy. 13, Pleasant Grove NSMMG Greg Koopman. 15th place went to Adams Kids OBVS Merida, Davia Adams. 14th was Kliss's NL Fawn Lily, Kliss Foster. 16, Agatha, owned by Scotty and Eileen Broadus. 17, Araby Farm Meadowlark, Scotty and Eileen Broadus. 18, Tempo Pasa, Catching Up, Emily Miller. 19 is Verdant Creek Sonnen's Tilly, John Walker. And 20th went to Honey Grove COZ, Betty Davis, Deanna Fritz. Top placing youth in the Sonnen 2-year-old class went to Bluestone Acres Peyton, owned by John Giarusso.
All right. Back to some. Record. Keep doing it. Here's some more.
The recorded grade, 7 years and over. Class was sponsored by the Peterson family. First place, second udder, Dohaven TT Angel, Carrie Enos. Second place, first udder, the Onyx's Gemstone, Jonathan Kane. Third place, champion Pocahontas Pride GC, Gabriel Ann Cleggett. Fourth, champion Capricorn ET Flair, Alice Orchakowski. 5, Dreamer, owned by Zachary Jones. 6, JDF Jacks No Mercy, Josephine Johnson. First placing youth went to JDF Jacks No Mercy. Okay, the results. We skipped a class here. 5 and 6-year-old recorded grade milkers. This class was sponsored by Love Rock Dairy Goats in memory of Grand Champion Love Rock TA Hotline. First place with first udder, recorded grade 5 and 6-year-old class went to Grand Champion Quarter Mile Naughty or Nice, owned by Nicole Peck. Second place, second udder, champion Equisones Supernovas, Rodney Danowski. Third, with third udder, champion Lee's Bees Tiza, Lee Breyer. Fourth place, champion Taylor Ridge Lorna, Catherine Taylor. Fifth place, Hops and Lobs Cold Open, Grace Toy. 6, Bellhurst Phenomenal, Carly Angelo. 7, Pallet Farms Pachysandra, Joanna Ringer. 8th place, Pocahontas Pride, JG Wild Ivy, and Claggett. 9th place, JDF Picasso Java Monster, Christina Johnson. 10th, Sir Echo Subre, Margaret Chamas. 11 was JDF Zombies Melania, Josephine Johnson. 12, JDF Mickey McKenna, Josephine Johnson. Top placing youth in that class was JDF Zombies Melania, Josephine Johnson.
Okay. Excited.
You guys want to go? Yeah, you guys. Thank you.
And here at the 2022 American Dairy Goat Association National Show, we're completing the judging of the senior recorded grade doe show with the selection of our senior champion. And so first, a round of applause for the exhibitors. One of the things that I noticed and that I want to call your attention to, if you weren't here for our old doe class, I say old doe class because the baby in the class was 7. We had an 11-year-old who had an udder placing, group of 9-year-olds with her, and so it really warms my heart when I can see these sound older does come out and represent the class. And so from the age doe class, our winners, sharp, angular dairy individuals still in full function. And so really commending them for that. Really striking silhouette on this pair of 5 to 6-year-old does from side profile. They do command your eye in terms of the stature and the length and presence about them. And as you'll see, I'm going to take you through a little more analysis as we work through these does as well and look at them from all views. And then the younger 4-year-old behind, again, just a beautiful doe and the levelness about her, the balance in terms of the dairiness, the correctness of her udder shape, the way she carries the udder as she travels, really to be commended on the 4-year-old doe. And then the 3-year-old doe, I think you really need to see her from the rear view to appreciate the correctness of position of udder in the body wall, the width of her rear udder, and her ease of motion around the rear udder that really catches our eye, coupled with a lot of dairiness and openness about her. And just, again, a really well-balanced 3-year-old doe. And then this 2-year-old really caught our eye when she walked into the ring. I just love the levelness about her and the sharpness and the dairiness about her to be really so commended. And then in our yearling doe, again, just all the pieces of the puzzle are there. Maybe not the maturity yet that we have and that will come with time, but the correctness of her udder support, the soundness and general dairiness about her really make her a fitting doe to join us for the champion lineup. So it's an interesting group because each doe brings something interesting to the class and something different to the class. And there's not one doe that commands every area from every view. And so while very different, we came to actually a very quick decision, and that is with our 3-year-old doe, the La Mancha type chocolate doe. And here again, bear with me in some of the analysis because we really need to see these does from all views to best appreciate the placing. As compared to our yearling doe, again, she will have to wait her day when looking at these does in full function that come ahead of them. The 2-year-old doe is probably most similar in style, but in mammary system, it's a longer, wider forudder. There's more width to rear udder, greater area of udder attachment and in body capacity. They're both, she carries more breadth throughout than did the 2-year-old doe. As compared to the 4-year-old doe, again, these does are kind of similar in style, dairiness and strength, but that forudder attachment so much more securely attached and showing more extension of fore. And again, she's a doe with more spring of rib and width in relation to size. I know you notice the 5 to 6-year-old. We notice her too. But as in the stature and the overall power about her, as we watch these does move, and even at rest, when viewed from the rear, and as we watch the position of where she holds that mammary system, the shape of that mammary system, the soundness of how she moves around the mammary system, there's really is a significant difference in these does. Our 3-year-old champion of the day The udder is more symmetrically shaped. It sits more properly on the body while owing to the difference in pelvic structure, her greater natural levelness in the rump from hips to pins, and again, very evident when you view them on the move. The greater ease of motion around the udder as she travels. She carries that rear udder wider into the escutcheon as she travels than does that big, powerful 5 to 6 year old doe. The correctness of udder shape and its capacity in carrying its fullness down into the lower portion of the udder. So really it's her pelvic shape, the position of the mammary system, the ease of motion around that rear udder that places her over this commandingly big, powerful 5 to 6 year old doe. A slight advantage is owed to her dairiness, owing to her greater sharpness, and just really when you handle her flat or bone type of doe. But the really big difference in them is in rear udder shape and the pelvic structure and the ease of motion around that udder. She does obviously yield in capacity to the 5 to 6 year old. So the 5 to 6 year old is easily her closest competitor. And then the age doe, again, all the credit is due for this dairiness and soundness that she has, but the quality and mammary systems on some of these younger does, they're at advantage. So congratulations, the 3-year-old doe is the champion. If you could move her in line, and while we appreciated the mammary system on the second placing doe, we're not finding quite the dairiness and dairy strength. And so very easily our 5 to 6 year old will be the reserve champion today. And here again, while yielding a bit in ease of motion around the udder to especially the 4-year-old and the 2-year-old, she has such a commanding advantage in overall, first in mammary system over the age doe, the area of udder attachment, clear advantage over the age doe. Again, in mammary, her longer, wider forudder, she has more strength of bone than the 4-year-old doe. She's more dairy in form and greater area of attachment, length than we're seeing in the Sonnen type 3-year-old doe. Again, in the 2-year-old doe, the greater extension and length of the forudder, the body capacity that she shows. And then the yearling doe, again, just to wait her day. All the pieces of the puzzle are there, but with the overall capacity and evidence of many years of functioning life, the 5 to 6 year old doe will be our reserve champion. Thank you.
Into our Sonnen 3-year-old milking class, udder placings are 1, 4, 2. First place udder on our first place doe today over our fourth place animal. Just much more area of udder attachment, much more extension of forudder, just more capacity to that mammary system than we are seeing in our second place udder and our fourth place doe. Second place udder over our third place udder. It is for the height to the rear udder. She's higher into the escutcheon. She blends more smoothly into the escutcheon. A little more proper teat placement on the udder floor than we do have in our third place mammary today. And it is 1 over 2 for that mammary system, showing us much more extension into that forudder, more proper teat placement on the udder floor. A doe that really caught our eye when she walked in the ring, excelling in general appearance over our second place doe, stronger in the top line in the area of the loin, more level of rump from hips to pins. She's blending more smoothly from the neck to the shoulder assembly, also has the advantage in body capacity, deeper to the chest, carrying more depth of barrel than we do see in 2. 2 then over 3, it is for strength and mammary system. Again, we're seeing a mammary that's higher to the escutcheon to that rear udder, more extension to that forudder, and we are seeing in 3. 3 then over 4 is a general appearance placing. A doe that's more nearly level of rump from hips to pins, and in the loin as she travels about the ring. 4 then over 5 for her advantage of mammary system, just showing us more extension to the forudder. Again, a doe that blends more smoothly into the escutcheon in that mammary system than we are seeing in our fifth place animal. 5 then over 6, again, strength and mammary system, a doe with more proper teat placement on the udder floor. We have the advantage in body capacity with more depth of barrel than we do see in 6. We can move this line forward, please. 6 then over 7, again, strength and mammary system. We're seeing more width of that rear udder. She also has the advantage in general appearance, blending more smoothly from the neck into the withers than we do see in 7. 7 then over 8, again, strength and mammary system. We're seeing more capacity. That mammary system is viewed from the side. behind that rear leg, more extension to that fore udder. She also has a doe that's deeper to the chest than we do see in our 8th place doe. 8 then over 9 has the advantage in dairy strength. She's sharper and cleaner throughout, more open to ribs, sharper to the withers, leaner to the neck than we do see in our 9th place doe. 9 then over 10, again, strength and general appearance. A doe that's more correct to that rear leg set. She's more level of rump from hips to pins than 10. 10 then over 11 for it is for that advantage in general appearance in her turn. Just a doe that's showing us more length of loin. She's longer of rump from hips to pin than we do see in our 11th place doe. 11 then over 12 for strength and mammary system, showing us more width to that rear udder. She's showing us more overall area of udder attachment and capacity. She has the advantage in dairy strength, the doe that's sharper to the withers than we see in our 12th place animal. 12 then over 13 for advantages in general appearance. The doe that's stronger to the rear leg set, stronger to those pasterns than we see in 13. 13 then over 14, another strength and general appearance and top line. When you get these does on the move, showing us more strength in the area of the loin as she travels. 14 over 15 has the advantage in general appearance, more nearly level of rump from hips to pins. She has the advantage in body capacity and more width of the chest than 15. 15 then over 16 for advantages in general appearance. Another doe that's more nearly level in the area of the loin as she travels. She's stronger to those rear pasterns than we do see in our 16th doe. We can move this line up, please. 16 then over 17 for advantages in mammary system and the capacity that she's showing. Much more width of the rear udder, much more capacity as viewed from the side than we do see in 17. 17 then over 18 has advantages in body capacity. She's deeper to the chest, carrying more depth of barrel, more spring of rib than we see in 18. 18 then over 19, it is for the dairy strength she's showing. She's a cleaner doe. She's sharper to the withers, more length, leanness, and neck, just more openness when you get your hand on her than we do see in 19. 19 then over 20 and two very similar style does, but does have the advantage in general appearance. She's stronger to the area of the chine. She's more level of rump from hips to pins than 20. 20 then over 13 has the advantage in body capacity. She's deeper, wider to the chest, more depth of barrel, more spring of rib. She's a longer bone pattern doe than we do see in a really dairy type in our 21st doe. Really sharp and open of ribs today.
Dylan Walden, we need your reserve junior champion recorded grade in the ring right now. Dylan Walden, your reserve champion junior recorded grade. We need it in the ring immediately. Can we also have all the premier youth first place recorded grades at ringside, please?
For those first place you.
Okay, here comes our reserve champion in the ring, please. And then at ringside, we need Josephine Johnson, Faith Hitch, We need all of your first place animals from the various age classes and recorded grades at ringside ready to come back in, please.
There.
And congratulations to our champions. At this time, we're selecting the recorded grade national grand champion overall from our senior champion does at the head of the line, the first place 3-year-old who was the senior grand champion, the first place 5 to 6-year-old who was the reserve senior grand champion, and then our lovely dry does, the senior kid, I believe it was, and the yearling from yesterday evening, who were the our junior and reserve junior champions. And looking at the junior champions, I'm just so pleased with the dairy style that they show, the soundness of their feet and legs. Our senior champions match up to them in those categories and then have these productive, well-supported mammary systems holding up over several years of productive life. So very handily, the national grand champion recorded grade doe here at the American Dairy Goat Association 2022 National Dairy Goat Show will be our senior grand champion, and our reserve overall grand champion will be the reserve senior champion. Congratulations.
Congratulations to our national champion recorded grade, Moss Ridge Jenko April, owned by Jocelyn Jones. And the reserve national champion recorded grade went to grand champion quarter mile Naughty or Nice, owned by Nicole Osman.
So, national champion.
The sponsor of the recorded grade grand champion award, Grace Toy from Hops and Lops Farms. The reserve grand champion is sponsored by Jessica Miller of Garden View Farm. We have the results of the Sonnen 3-year-old milker class. This class, the first place went to, and first udder went to Araby Farms Mercedes, owned by Scotty and Eileen Broadus. Second place with udder, Araby Farm Just a Rumor, Scotty and Eileen Broadus. Third place, Pleasant Grove Got Ra, Craig Koopman. Fourth place with a second placing udder went to Jamaica Kids Making Excuses, Megan Lawrence. Fifth place, Spinning Spider EH Paparazzi, Christine Owen. Six, Spinning Spider EH Posh Life, Christine Owen. 7, Sherry's Raging Pearl, Sarah Cohen Wahlberg. 8, Bjorning's Lady, Ruth Phillips Grant. 9, Araby Farm Just a Joy, Scotty and Eileen Broadus. 10, Verdon Creek Son and Sissy, John Walker. 11, JH Farms MB Avino's Trisket, Diana Hubbard. 12th, OHF GW Let Me Shine, Laura Warren Hughes. 13, Pleasant Grove has OP, Craig Koopman. 14, JH Farms MB's Milano, Diana Hubbard. 15, L.I. Scapegoat Lip Sync, Paige Warren. 16, Barely Catsano Perry, Emily Miller. 17, Violet Vale FTG Reverie, Erica Slayton. 18, Cangola Sunup Magnolia, Erica Slayton. 19th went to Shenblanc MFS Penelope, Caden Tucker. And 20th place was Araby Farm $1 Million Baby, Scotty and Eileen Broadus. Top placing youth in the Sonnen 3-year-old class. First place went to Paige Warren with L.I. Scapegoats Lip Sync. Second place went to Caden Tucker, Shenblock MFS Penelope.
And here we're picking the premier youth senior doe of the recorded grade dairy goat show from this 11-year-old at the head of the line. Remember, she won an udder placing in her class. And again, wonderful to see a sound doe who's kidded 11 times still out here joining us in the ring. Really sound feet and legs and correct udder shape on the 5 to 6-year-old. Just beautiful form and style on the 4-year-old. Similar dairiness and depth throughout on the 3-year-old doe. And then again, beautiful style and balance and correctness of mammary system on the 2-year-old. And then the yearling doe, again, the pieces of the puzzle are there, the soundness of udder structure, soundness of feet and legs, to make, really pleased that the youth have come out here. And in fact, let's give our youth a round of applause for their efforts and for joining us out here and competing in this national show. We had a couple of class winners out here from the full classes as well. Here there are two does that very quickly come to mind, the 4-year-old and the 2-year-old, and a bit hard to make up your mind between them. They're both similar in udder form, sound in general appearance, extreme in their dairiness relative to the other does in the lineup. They excel in area of udder attachment, stature, strength, and depth throughout. Between the two does, really just splitting hairs between them. I'm going to go with the 2-year-old for our premier youth today, senior doe, the premier youth senior doe of the recorded grade show. Again, some trade-offs. As a younger doe, I feel that she's just a little more correct the way she handles the front end and front leg. Coming to rest with less prominence of brisket, the foreleg a little more properly under the wither, and a bit more correctness in the overall the way she carries the mammary system on the move as well. But really, either doe, one could defend a placing, and they're certainly very similar does in overall style. But we're going to lean back to the 2-year-old today for the Premier Youth Doe.
Congratulations to Faith Hitch on her doe Shady Lawn RRRB, who is our National Premier Youth Recorded Grade Doe. And this class was sponsored by the New York State Dairy Goat Breeders Association in memory of June York Meacham of Wynnum Toggenburgs. We have the production awards for the recorded grades. The same doe won the High Lifetime Milk and High Lifetime Butterfat, and her name is Hops and Lops Cold Open, and she's owned by Grace Toy. The High 305 Milk production and High 305 Butterfat was the same doe, Moss Ridge Jonco April, and she is owned by Tracy Jones. And she was our national champion. Those recorded grade production awards were sponsored by Dina Arango of Kalium Parvum Farm and Darla O'Neill of Greens Crossing. Other miscellaneous sponsors for the recorded grades, we appreciate your support. Go to Gina Irons Flat Top Farm, Kanza Kids, Dem Mangles, Michaela Sievers, Christina Myers Cox of Mountain River Ranch, Abby and Marty Bundy of Platte Valley Dairy Goats, Jake Houston and family, Gina Irons Flat Time Farm, Linda Kuhn and Laura Bowman, Utterly Nuts Dairy Goats, Caitlin Hanlon of Galaxy Goats. We appreciate your support for the recorded grades. Recorded grade dairy herd in the ring, please. We're still missing a few herds. Recorded grade dairy herd should be in the ring.
The lifetime.
Recorded grade dairy herd class is complete.
Just a single entry in our recorded grade dairy herd class. A lot of evidence of maturity and sustained function over a number of years of productive life on these deep-bodied does. They're very deserving of our blue ribbon and special prizes for dairy herd.
Congratulations to Ann Claggett on her first place recorded grade dairy herd. And this class was sponsored by Gina Irons of Flat Top Farm.
There's only one rest. Only a single entry in this recorded grade best 3 females class, and really a shame they have no competition. Shapely mammary systems on extremely dairy does. They could withstand some competition, and they're very deserving of our blue ribbon and special prizes.
What class it was?
Congratulations to Lee's Bees on your first place best 3 recorded grade does.
I think so. Wait, but what's next though? No, I'm not fully. Yeah, yeah. What do you think? If we have 2 show first, calling good. Jody's going for the bite, so I guess. We'll call it. No,
Two attractive entries in this recorded grade produce of dam class. In this case, then each group is comprised of 2 daughters that are out of a single dam or mother. One is placing over 2 for the advantage they have in mammary system in that they're more uniform in the strength of their medial suspensory support, more uniform in the width of rear udder attachment, and in their dairy strength a bit more uniform as well in the length of rib and openness. Certainly commending, however, the stature and length of body about the second group. So they're a very comparable pair of groups.
All right, there were 0 entries in the recorded grade get a sire class, so we'll move on to the recorded grade senior produce of dam. This class was sponsored by Mariah Acton. First place went to Grand Champion Love Rock TA Hotline Bling, owned by Vanessa Mills. Second place, That's Our Chica's Cat, Deanna Fritz.
Got my eye on it. The berry beans.
Just another reminder, if you haven't gotten your tickets for the cheese event that's going to be held at 2 o'clock, they are still available at the ADGA office for $20. And you have 1 more hour to purchase your raffle tickets and all the items we have over there. We have several raffle dough kids. We have a lot of artwork, and we have some beautiful state theme baskets there as well. And that raffle ends in 12 o'clock, which is in 1 more hour.
It's our 4-year-old Sonnen milking class. Udder placings in this class is 1, 2, and 4. One placing over 2, we're just seeing a little more width of the rear udder than we are seeing in our second place mammary. Our second place mammary on our second place doe over our fourth place doe in line. It is for the extension of forudder. She's wider to the rear udder and higher to that rear udder to the escutcheon than our third place mammary. One placing over 2, excelling in dairy strength. The doe that really caught her eye when she walked in this class, just excelling. She's sharper at the withers, a little more open when you get your hands on her, more leanness in neck and general appearance. Certainly a doe that has the advantage in strength in feet and legs and those pasterns and legs set. More level of rump from hips to pins than we are seeing in our second place doe. 2 then over 3, it is that mammary system that's placing her over. Just showing us much more area of udder attachment extension to the forudder. She's wider. She's more balanced with more proper symmetry to the udder halves than we are seeing in our third place animal. 3 then over 4 for advantages in general appearance. A doe that's cleaner about the crops. She's a little more level in the area of the rump from hips to pins than we are seeing in 4. 4 then over 5, another general appearance placing. A doe that's stronger to those rear pasterns as she travels. She's more level over the top lane in the area of the rump from hips to pins. She's blending more smoothly from the neck into the shoulder assembly than we do see in our 5th place animal. 5 then over 6, another mammary system placing. Much more width to that rear udder. She's higher to the discussion. She has the advantage in body capacity, more depth and spring of rib than we are seeing in our 6th place doe. 6 then over 7. Or dairy strength advantages, we're seeing a little more length, leanness, and neck, more openness of rib, a mammary system that's showing us a little more extension to that forudder, more proper teat size than we're seeing in 7. 7 then over 8 for her advantages in mammary system, much more balance and symmetry between the udder halves. We're seeing a doe that's more level of rump from hips to pins than we are seeing in our 8th place animal today. 8 then over 9 for advantages in general appearance. She's a longer bone pattern doe. She's showing us more length of loin. She's more level of rump from hips to pins than we do see in 9. 9 then over 10, again, strengths in general appearance. More upstanding. She's blending more smoothing from the neck into the withers. She's more level in the area of the loin, more strength to the chine. Mammary system just showing us more extension to that forudder than we are seeing in our 10th place animal. 10 then over 11. Advantages in mammary system held a little higher in the discussion. She has the advantage also in general appearance. More proper rear leg set is viewed from the side than our 11th place doe. 11 then over 12 advantages in mammary system. More proper teat placement on the udder floor than we're seeing in 12. 12 then over 13 is for advantages in general appearance. We're seeing more strength in feet and legs, correct rear leg set width between the hocks as she travels than we do see in our 13th place doe. 13 then over 14. It is again strength in mammary system, symmetry and balance between the halves, more width to the rear udder, more capacity than we are seeing in our 14th though. 14 over 15, again strength in mammary system, just again a little more balance and symmetry between the udder halves. A doe that's showing us a little more proper rear leg set than we see in a really long, stretchy doe. Just a lot of length of body in our 15th place doe, which I commend her for.
These are the recorded grade dam and daughter pairs here, a large and competitive class in our recorded grade division at the American Dairy Goat Association 2022 National Show. And before we kind of get to our final award, the best udder, let me just thank the exhibitors while so many of you are out here for really an enjoyable recorded grade show, especially memorable. Again, were those older does coming on out, and then really some stylish younger individuals that really are the evidence here that we have at the top of the line with the 4 and 2-year-old class winners, and also youth premier doe, by the way, who they just easily had the top of the lineup over the advantage they have in general appearance over the balance of the class. They're sounder in the front end, stronger of backs than were the second placing doe, and really excel the class as well in mammary system, both in the udder structure, but also in the teat shape and delineation, and really beautiful pair of does. And it is the correctness of mammaries, the correctness of general appearance in front end and backs that place them over 2. 2 placing over 3 here, first in mammary systems. They're more correct in teat shape and delineation. As a matter of degree, they're stronger over the top lines and the back and rump, although not evident at this point. If you could just lead those does up a few steps. They're just holding together more uniformity in terms of the shapes of udder and so on as compared to 3. 3 placing over 4, really appreciate the improvement from dam to daughter and the strength of back. And so there's better, but there's still more uniformity in udder shape in 3 placing over 4 as compared for this placing. 4 placing over 5, excelling in dairy strength, just sharper, more uniform does in their dairiness, and in mammary system, greater total area of udder attachment than in 5. 5 more upstanding, longer made does than 6, showing more length throughout and more levelness in rump from hips to pins than 6. 6 placing over 7th in their turn, especially in the youngster, not finding quite the overall strength of udder support that I saw in the dam. So if there's just more uniformity in rear udder support, area of udder attachment over 7. 7 was placing over 8 while yielding in the length of body to 8, and really appreciate that about them. They're more uniform in the total udder capacity. They're more uniform in the strength of front end and depth of forearm over these longer rump does in 8. And it is that length of bone pattern, especially the longer, wider rumps, that place them over 9, whom I commend for the strength of feet and legs. So congratulations.
We're looking for an Erica Slayton, your doe irresistible for the 5 and 6-year-old Sonnen class. Erica Slayton, please bring your doe to the ring immediately or let us know that you've scratched her. Recorded grade, 1st and 2nd place udders, please enter the ring. Okay, we have the results of the 4-year-old Sonnen Milker class. 1st place with 1st udder went to Champion Promised Farm F.I. Ronnie, owned by Emily Miller. 2nd place with 2nd udder went to Spinning Spider H.M. Mainline, Christine Owen. 3rd place with Shen Blanc NSL Caitlin, owned by Emily Tucker. 4th place with a 3rd placing udder went to Pleasant Grove NSMMG, Craig Koopman. 5th place, Spinning Spider Starstruck, Christine Owen. 6, OHF RCT PEH Rain Dance, Jason Brown. 7, Pleasant Grove NSMMG, Craig Koopman. 8th place, Pocahontas Pride PJ Phoebe, Ann Claggett. Carrie Enos, we're looking for your 2nd placing udder in the recorded grade class in the ring right now, please. Carrie Enos. 9th place son and 4-year-old went to Blue Sage Georgie, Rebecca Perhatch. 10, JH Farms MB's Blanc de Blanc, Diana Hubbard. 11, Capricorn Hot Coconut, Alice Orchowski. 12, Bjorning's TEJ Kerplunk, Ruth Phillips Grant. 13, Araby Farm Ain't She Sweet, Scotty and Eileen Broadus. 14, Bluestone Acres Eva, John Giarusso. And then 15th place went to Tempo Pasa Estella, Dana Isley. 1st place youth entry in the son and 4-year-old class went to Emily Tucker and her doe Shen Blanc NSL Caitlin. 2nd place was John Giarusso with Bluestone Acres Eva.
Yes. So. Yeah, then that's. Now that you're looking at. So baby buck didn't actually come in. Yeah.
Carrie Enos, we're looking for your entry and your aged recorded grade doe, second place udder. We need you in the ring. Carrie Enos.
So.
We have the results of the recorded grade senior dam and daughter class. First place went to Shady Lawn High Khaleesi, owned by Faith Hitch. Second, Champion Lee's Bees Tiza, Lee Breyer. Third, Pallet Farm Pat Cassandra, Joanna Ringer. Fourth, Will Lee, the boss's daughter, Katie Jackson. 5, That's Our Chica's Cat, Deanna Fritz. 6, Love Rock OBK Chattanooga Lucy, Vanessa Mills. 7, The Onyx's Gemstone, John Kane. 8 was a doe owned by Ann Claggett. 9th, JDF Mickey McKenna, Josephine Johnson.
This is the lineup for the best uttered recorded grade doe of the show here at our national show. There are a few changes. The age does we've changed out. I think she's a 9-year-old now. Is that right? 9-year-old doe here at the head of the line. And then our reserve champion of the day, she was the first place in her class. So we had first udders were for our 4-year-old and 2-year-old doe or 3-year-old does are the same. Our 2-year-old actually it was a close udder placing, but more perfectly molded udder with more correct shape came in. So we have a different class winner there, and then the same class winner for our yearling. There are 3 does we would like to milk out. The 5 to 6-year-old, our reserve champion. The 3-year-old, our champion, and then this 2-year-old doe. So again, for the balance of the group, the correctness of udder shape, area of udder attachment, the competition will be in those 3 does. So we'll thank you and have you milk out. And then again, great. Those of you who came with your first and second place udders, thank you for coming. And we appreciate the quality of those does as well.
Attention in the barns. We're looking for an owner of a stock trailer, white bison stock trailer with main license plate 2695N or 91C. It's a white bison stock trailer with main license plates 269591C. We're just a little bit concerned. You do have a flat tire. We don't want you to be able to start loading later and find out you have a flat tire. So if you want to get that taken care of now, there you go.
It goes too fast. I tried to make it work. Somebody get there. Yeah, no. I think that sells for me the type of iodine lotion. It's kind of you guys have to love it like iodine across like to your farms.